right, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. This is episode 55. First off, shout out to our sponsors, defendhawaii.com. If you go on their website, figure out what you want. Upon checkout, use promo code ATBPOD and you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Defendhawaii.com, ATBPOD upon checkout. Also, I rep Detail Supply Company. If you're looking to detail your car, has a bunch of waxes, soaps, whatever you need, I rep detailsupply.com. Same thing, promo code upon checkout, 15% off your entire purchase order. ATBPOD upon checkout. Last off, we got hawaiicandyfactory.com. Go on to hawaiicandyfactory.com. Use promo code ATBPOD. You'll get 10% off your entire purchase order. Check out what they have. They have a bunch of candies, lihimui, a whole bunch of creations that they come up with. They do seasonal stuff too. hawaiicandyfactory.com. ATBPOD upon checkout. Okay, so this week, I've been trying to get this guest on for a while. Actually, I've been saving him because I know this is going to be a good one. He's somebody that I got to work with and somebody that we've been in the same industry together and been promoting at the same time. He owns Tantriq Entertainment. Name is JAY Kawakami. What's up, Jay? How you been, man?
What's up, Dad?
It's crazy to think that while we're doing promotions, like we were kind of like doing parties at the same time. So I guess you could say we were like rivals, but it never felt like that. You would always come check out our event. We'd always come check out your event. And it's not like that anymore. I feel like the Hawaii night industry has changed so much where there's not really much to choose from. It's only kind of like, oh, we'll go here or here. And that's it.
I think a lot of things changed in the world, recently. But, things are a lot different nowadays. And I know doing business out there like we used to, I know it's done differently as well. So it's kind of good.
I know a lot of people that listen to the show enjoy when I have older promoters on to talk about like the old school stuff and like that. And for me, it's always fun because it gets a little nostalgic and I always want to hear the other sides of stories. So it's like with you guys, we kind of did like one or two events together, but you guys always had your own thing. How did you even get started in promoting?
Oh, that's a good question, man. But I have to turn the people back. This is before like cell phones. You know what I mean? Like this days. It started off. My dad was a bartender at the Hyatt Regency.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been a bartender there since pretty much the day that hotel opened back in the 1600s or wherever the time it was. So like he was a bartender for a long time, and I would go there and I was like, hey, let's throw a party over here at this pool deck up here at the Hyatt. It started like that, and then we ended up throwing one, and then we threw two, three, and then after like 4 or 5, we realized, holy moly, this is fun, but we lost a ton of money. But it was cool. Everyone got in free. Everyone loved it, but just the business sense wasn't all there at age 20 years old,
And were you doing anything else at the time, or was you're starting to dabble in that?
Oh man, at the time when I first started doing this, I actually had a full-time job. I was working in my family business. It was called Frank's Auto Paint. I was running an auto body shop.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was doing that full time during the day. And that's where I found my initial partners for Tantriq Entertainment,
Okay.
And they were the ones, the party was good. Let's keep doing it. Let's make it a business. I was like, I just want for parties, Like at the time, let's just throw parties, But it was fun. I mean, it was a ride, Those guys, my initial partners, they're big time in like in this company called Geico Insurance. So like they're a little older, but they had some business sense, and like we took that business model into the promotions. They ended up all just being like, oh, this is too much. This is fun and all, and they all dropped out. And then I ended up being by myself.
I
Yeah,
know how that goes.
I just ended up just the next party I did, all of a sudden I made a couple thousand. And the next party I made a couple more thousand, next party I made 10 grand. Like, and it's like, holy moly, like
Yeah.
what did I do? Like, you know that feeling, Dad. You set something up and everyone shows up and you're like, how did this happen?
I know there are multiple times where I would stand at a club or a concert and just be looking out, just like they actually showed up. Like everybody came because we told them to, and they actually did. And for me, I always I would stand next to Chris or Taylor at the shell, and I'm like, bruh, like they came. People came, bruh. They actually came because we told them to.
Hey.
It's a crazy feeling, bro. And it feels good to create something out of nothing. And I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of times where you took a hit or whatever, but those moments where it's like, wow, this really worked out and all our hard work kind of panned out. And that's a mean feeling. That's a drug, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that feeling was what, everyone having fun, like people in the same room with the same energy. We're all there at the same purpose. We're all there just to not worry about life, where everyone's there and we're all bonding through music. That's pretty much like what kind of drove me to like keep doing events, for the past 8-9 decades or whatever it's been.
Give or take. So you started at the Hyatt. I honestly, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was your first gig.
It was my first. It was actually, I was one of the biggest, and honestly, first gig. It was really my first like nightclub thing. Like, we made a nightclub there. It was a hotel.
That was when it was Feng Shui, or
exactly. So you had a couple partners, Blaze.
Justin Yoshino.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's initial partners. So like, it started off as a concept, and we ended up doing it there for a little run, and then we stopped it a little while, and we came back. We did it when we did the W, because I know you guys are doing W too, right?
Yeah. Well, that's when I really started hearing about you. I mean, I hate to say it, was they kind of did something shady and they kind of ousted us like within a week. And there's some back end stuff like that. But what I knew was Oa, one of our partners, came up to us and said, "Bro, I got a call from Jay. That's the guys that's coming in." And he told us this was happening. He wanted to be very open about it and tell us what was going on. And of course, at the time, we're like, fuck him. But I did remember thinking like, bruh, he was open and honest, and that's kind of all you want. And then which at the time became beneficial for us because we moved to Aaron's and was successful there. And you guys were successful at the W, which was one of my favorite venues for some reason. I think I love that 2 rooms and that sexy stairway. And it was one of my first
there, it's
what is that?
There. It's still
we tried it again, bro. We did. It didn't work.
I know, but I mean, maybe it's just now. Back 50 years ago, that was nice, I guess.
Yeah, it was Spats or something first, or something like that.
It was called
or Scroop. I don't know.
Apollos or something.
Oh, really? See, I don't remember.
I was really young back then, so
yeah. But yeah, and I always thought like, wow, Jay kind of talked to us about it before it happened. So we found out about it from you through OA versus the club telling us. So we kind of weren't as blindsided. Right. That's something that I always remembered. And yeah, at the time we were bitter because they kicked us out, but we weren't mad at you guys. It was more like, okay, well, freaking, I guess that's whatever. But I remember meeting you and it was always like, oh, this guy is super fun. A lot of alcohol. Like anytime I went to visit you or you visit us, there's a lot of alcohol. And it was always cool for me to understand, like going to other promoters, like it's friendly competition or whatever, but always had aloha, even with you guys with Vertical Junkies and like with Blaze. Whenever I went to your guys' events, it was always like, Dad, come to the bar, shots. And I always felt welcome. And for me at the time, I was still learning and I was under Ronnie them. So I felt special, and you guys always made me feel cool, and like I always appreciated that. But like competition wasn't that big a deal because a lot of people are going out, so there's enough crowd to spread for everywhere. And most of the times, like if people went to your guys' event, they would stop by our event, go to Brian's event. Like it's a little bit different now, but yeah, it was cool. Like you guys had a lot of different concepts for your guys' parties, and I always enjoyed those, man. Like Feng Shui was super cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Yeah. And I think we rebranded that bad boy as Monkey Bar for like maybe like 5 years after that.
Oh, Monkey Bar was insane. Like there were times where we snuck out to go check out Monkey Bar. That, and when you were doing chais also, right?
Yeah,
or was that just VJ?
No. Yeah, we're doing chais. We did chais. We did Monkey Bar. We did W. We're doing them all. Like you guys.
Yeah.
Wherever it would open their doors, we're like, yeah, we're gonna do a party here.
So what was like one of your favorite venues?
Oh, as a promoter, nightclub promoter, one of the favorite events. It had to be towards the later of the career, but I mean, like it was with Hanson when we did 53 by the Sea.
That was the New Year's Eve one, huh?
That one was like, it wasn't like, a couple thousand people. It was like maybe like 400 people, 300, 400. But it was just like a nice, elegant event, It was one of those events where you're just kind of like always, oh yeah. Second best was the one that me and you blacked out, but that one I can't remember. So I mean, like, I don't know how good
I just seen that video, man. Like, I remember that like that day.
The countdown thing?
Yeah, the Taiku pool party. And I remember like it was fun, and then all of a sudden, like, I was hammered, and
it was yeah.
I remember you guys had an event that night, and we had paparazzi that night. I never made it, and you were texting me like, "Oh, did you make it?" I didn't even respond.
We're doing alcohol poisoning at like 5 PM. It was yeah. Good thing my liver was a little younger then. I lived through that one.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that again. That was brutal. Taiku pool party. We should do something like that again.
That was actually very legendary. I think that's the one we did it where like we did like a sake shot at the same time around the world or something.
Yeah, so they live streamed. I know I had one in Tokyo, one in was it London or some like was 3 different places, and it all was at the same time, and we had a freaking table of these little shot glasses of Taiku, and we counted down, and then we all took it. We have video of all that, and it was I think that was the only pool party I've done, and that that was such a fun day, and
we had some girl hosting. I remember some girl
Roxy, was it Roxy?
No, wasn't it like a UFC girl hosting or something?
I don't remember that. Maybe.
Anyway, there's like so many parties. I just don't even know if they all come together as one.
So what? After you kind of stopped doing the weekly nightclub stuff, what were you kind of getting into?
The weekly nightclub stuff was good. And like I said, I was running the family business, the auto body shop, which is good.
Oh, you're doing that at the same time?
Yeah, I was still running it. So it was nuts. Yeah, it was daytime there and nighttime there, daytime there, nighttime there. So it was good. It was cool. Young, after finishing that up, like I started doing a couple shows. I started doing like shows at like I started doing a nightclub at like this place called Level 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely remember that.
I started doing over there. And then like it was like a concert venue.
Yeah. It literally was a theater, huh?
It was a theater. So like we're like, oh, nightclub, let's use the theater, let's use the theater. So we did, who did we do? We did Bruno's first show there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Did Busta Rhymes there, which was insane. I have like this video from my old BlackBerry that like I wish I could show you. It's like pixelated, but it was like you could just feel like, oh, that was like a good night, But we started doing some concerts, like some rap, R&B concerts and stuff. We started linking with a bunch of different things like that, and then I started doing Valentine's Day show. I started doing this Valentine's Day engagement years ago.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
were kind of the first people to do that, right?
Actually, we're the first ones. We did it at we did a Brian McKnight.
Oh, I remember. You know how I remember that?
Tell me.
Because he came to the W.
You're absolutely right. He did.
And I had no clue who Brian McKnight was. And he's tall.
He's
so
tall.
Yeah. So I'm standing like on the side of W, and one of the girls like, "Oh my God, that's Brian McKnight." I'm looking at him like, what team does he play for? She's like, "What?" I like, he's a basketball player. Like, what team does he play for? She's like, "He's a singer." And I'm like, "Oh, I had no idea." And then when she told me the songs, then I kind of knew who he was, but I listened to rock, so I didn't know the name. But so shit. But yeah, I do remember him coming here for your Valentine's concert.
It's so long ago. I mean, honestly, like I remember that show. It was one of our first ones, and like that one, like the opener was this band called Not Too Soul. Because you know who they are now?
Who?
Common Kings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Then.
So look, I mean, like Not Too Soul was it was their name before, and like they're like,
oh, I did. Okay. I knew that they had another name. I didn't know. I didn't relate it.
Yeah.
I remember they played their first concert at Paparazzi.
That could have been the same trip they came down here, you know. That could have as Common Kings or as Not Too
Yeah,
Soul?
they were Common Kings, and then
they turned after, but
okay.
But yeah, kind of crazy because like when we started doing them, I was like, oh, these guys are super good, you know. They weren't singing island music, they're singing like you know, R&B covers and stuff, and that's
kind of cool.
They're a great band. And then they started singing more their own music and all this stuff. Now they're huge. So it was kind of awesome. Yeah. But like, we did Valentine's Day every year after that. Boys to Men, Michael Bolton. We did crazy ones. Tony who else did we do? Jodeci, Casey and JoJo, Blackstreet, all of the 90s, you know, all of these bands. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. So that being said, like currently you guys are still doing events, right? Like more on the concert side.
We are, you know, we're doing a bunch of we're doing a bunch of big events, but the event size is like, it's different genres and stuff, you know, like, you know, like than what we would be doing before.
Yeah.
Like, currently I'm working on a couple projects that like, when I show it to you, Dad, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's great. You know?
You gotta bring some rock bands down here, man.
Rock is cool. I love rock. You know, like what band would be your ideal band to bring to Hawaii?
Well, me, I'm always a Metallica fan, so always Metallica. They've been here before, and I went, but even the smaller like Three Doors Down or like like Stain would be a cool one. I've seen them before. I was a huge Linkin Park fan and went to see them live in Vegas, but
they don't.
Unfortunately, they're not going to be performing. But any alternative, the newer alternative, I'm not a big fan of. I think maybe Imagine Dragons or that might be a cool one. I would probably check out. But even old school stuff like Blink or I would go watch Motley Crue. I went to watch Guns N' Roses. Like Def Leppard, that would be cool.
Be cool. Oh, that's music. You get it.
Yeah, for me, it's what I like, but I'm not sure how it would transition to ticket sales. I always thought rock would be okay because of all the military bases, we would always go to Bayfest. They would always have Bayfest in Conway Bay, and they would always have big rock bands. I seen Three Doors Down, Stain. I seen Hoobastank. Papa Roach. Yeah.
The military had this budget. I remember because when they booked Bayfest, they would ask me like, "Oh, who could you get at this price?" I'm like, "Oh, the budget's enormous."
Military money is pretty expendable.
And they're like gonna spend like $80,000 on a show. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they had Black Eyed Peas one time. They had
exactly.
Yeah. And it was cool because it was a 3-day event, and each day was a different genre. So they would have like a country, rock, and then like R&B or like pop music. But it was, and plus it was right up the street from me, so it's kind of cool. They don't do that anymore, though.
I don't know. That budget went someplace else.
Well, have you never thought of trying to do rock concerts or?
I have usually in that genre, they usually want to go after crowds larger than what Hawaii can hold, like more like stadium kind of crowds.
Oh
So,
yeah.
for a single promoter, not somebody like Live Nation, it's a little bit harder to obtain that kind of show. I mean,
Yeah.
obtain it, but then your profit margin is narrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for me, like we always took shows that like a lot of times the shows I've done is a lot of times I have relationships with a lot of people that they're working with them, with behind the shows.
Oh,
So
to
yeah.
work out the budget a little better, huh?
And not, yeah, if they're their managers or their agent or the booking company, like, you always know if somebody's going to take care of you. Because, I tell you right now, there's a bunch of money that we've lost just on like people false and just fake
Hmm.
people, a
I've
bunch.
done that. Or
Yeah,
people that run up the budget super high.
it's true. And that, but,
Yeah.
we try to fix those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red occasion, like, okay, we're not going to have that happen to us again.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's hit or miss too. Like especially when I was fortunate enough to do island music, we did a few successful events and then we had a few that weren't so successful. But it's kind of stressful because sometimes local people will buy last minute or just and like you want to go into the concert at least even. You know what I mean? Like okay, we're not gonna lose money. A couple of times we'd be like sitting outside, like, oh shit, these guys better show up.
Our frustrations aren't to the people that buy tickets late. Our frustrations are to the people that text us, that ask us
Oh,
things like, hey, you know where I can
yeah,
get tickets? It's like, okay, like, and then you scroll up to their text a little higher and it's like, you just asked me that at the last show, like
yeah.
10 minutes before, like, but anyway, like, just, people, you do want to take care of people and whatever you need to do, but at the same time, it is a business. So, like, at
Oh
the same
man.
time, it's kind of a hard thing. And I'm the worst at that, like, I'm always like, give, give, give. And at the end of the day, it's like, oh, Jay, you're stupid.
Yeah, I was the same way, and then I learned, bro. And then I would post on Facebook or whatever. It's like if you're hitting me up for tickets, ask me on Sunday and the concert Saturday.
Yeah,
Like,
right. That's a great
it's like,
idea.
bro, I would have people from like elementary school I never even talked to for like, oh, can get hookups with tickets. I'm like, bruh, where do you work? Oh, you sell cars. Like, you can hook me up with a free car. Like,
They're not gonna do that for you, but buddy.
and you know what's the weirdest shit is the people I would hook up are the people that never asked.
They
And then
won't.
some people that I hooked up, like, oh, they super nice to you until whatever, but the next day you don't get on thank you call or like, but it's the industry, but
Yeah. Like once I stopped doing nightclubs, my cell phone after like 9:30, it doesn't even ring anymore.
Oh yeah, all your friends gone, huh?
Oh,
Pandemic, my phone was broken, I thought.
my phone did not work for some reason.
Oh, first day the club reopened, bro. Oh, look, Friday nights, everybody's calling.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's crazy, but that's human nature, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you do meet a lot of shitty people in the industry, but bro, I met a lot of solid people, like people that I trust, and
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy because this business is different, and like normal people don't do it. You know what I mean? Like everybody would do it, then it'd be different. But I met some solid people, and through the years, and you learn to develop relationships outside of the events. And for me, that was always important. And kind of the way I did business, I tried to always be open and honest. And sometimes it fucked me, but sometimes it was most times it's beneficial. And you're the same way, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like anytime I asked you something, you're always open and honest. But unfortunately, I always wanted to do a weekly event with you guys. It never happened, but was cool that we always got to like I said, always go back and forth with each other's events.
It was, and it was really good. It was really good to know that we are boys at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and that's kind of
sure.
Cool. Like I always appreciated that about us. And just like serious. Like there's some people that like you just appreciate. And you're one of those dudes, bro.
That would be kind of, maybe it was meant to be. If we did a weekly event together, that might have been. Yeah. You might have more kids, alcohol poisoning, or
more kids, more baby moms. Like it'd be like crazy.
So what? Your first child you had when you still were promoting, correct?
Yeah, I had him actually before I started promoting.
Okay. So how was navigating that? And I always ask this because I'm going through it, and being a dad, especially me, I'm a single dad that in this industry, you gotta make sure you allot your time to where your child doesn't get kind of forgotten about or put on the back burner. And this industry is very demanding. So how did you navigate being a dad and promoting?
You know, like, so I might hold a record, bro. Okay. And I want this to go on recording right now. I had a baby in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. Yeah, I don't know too many dudes that got that. Like, if you really
One a
think
decade, bro.
one a decade, I got one a decade. But like, I mean, you know, the first one, my boy Sky, you know, he deserved more. I was too young. You know, I was very young. You know, like I didn't do everything you possibly could. And like, if I could, that's one thing. If you told me change your life, that's what I would do. I would try to do more. You know, like at the time, I thought I was trying to do as much as I could, trying to spend as much time. But at the end of the day, I could have did more. Not saying that I didn't do enough. I know with my younger ones now, like I do everything. You know, everything. So it's different.
Wow.
Doing more and everything is different.
That's I think it's a strong person to admit, you know what I mean? And bro,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I understand. And what got me one time was I went to pick up Hanson one day to go flyer UH.
Yep.
And it was summertime, or not summertime, but it was like I forget what it was, but his son was like by the window and he's like, "Oh, daddy, where are you going?" And then he was like, "Oh, I gotta go work." And the son was like super bummed. And this was before I had a child.
Right.
And like I remember picking up and driving away thinking like, oh, like we're gonna go flyer this stuff for our event, and his son's home and just waiting for Hanson to get back. And like
Right.
Hanson sacrificed that. And I always like Hanson, the way Hanson parent is something I always looked up to, and I always tried to emulate because he's always a good parent in this industry.
Right.
So as soon as we got home, like he would do something with his kid, and like that was it. So it's like it resonated with me when I had my daughter, and I made sure like, okay, now it's my turn to do those kind of things and make sure I did my job, but I also made sure that I had my time with her and didn't miss out on anything. And I feel like I've done it good. I might have made some mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes. But yeah, in this industry, it's not easy to be a parent. And like you come home at 5 a.m. and then your kid wakes you up at 5:30, and it's like, bro, what can you do? You know what I mean?
It's like, are you really that tired? No, you're not. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
get. Yep. I feel
Yeah.
it, man. I feel it. It's crazy. I don't know what it is, but like getting older, it just makes you kind of like think a little bit differently, you know?
Yeah. I definitely have a different mindset, especially now I had a girl, and every time I see a girl in the club dress, I was like, oh, if my daughter ever wore that, bro, like, or if my daughter ever acted like that, it'd be.
You
But
know what? You're so beautiful too. Oh my gosh, I feel sorry.
I know
I
it's
feel,
not a good thing.
I feel
But
so
before that, it's like, oh, these girls are raging now. Look at all these
I
ratchet.
know.
Like
I know.
now it's like, oh,
Oh,
what?
it's
Your
like,
parents
oh,
know
his
you dress like
mom,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
He has a father. She has a father for sure.
Exactly. It was like, oh, it was weird. I just seen a girl I knew, her daughter was trying to get into the club, and I knew she's under. And I'm just
Right.
watching her, and I just went, "Hey, you the kind's daughter, huh?" And she just looked at me like, I was like, like I was thinking, like I could tell, trying to get into the club. I know
I
what you're
know.
doing, like.
She's gonna go back and she's gonna go, Mom, you know your friend? He's
Yeah,
still at the nightclub.
I know that's the thing. I used to get her mom in.
Exactly.
Oh my
Right after the
goodness,
nightclub.
I know it. I always ask this, how was it to step away, like to say, okay, I'm no longer gonna do nightclub stuff anymore?
You know, like I think it was prolonged, you know, like I did it for such a long time and it was like a weekly thing. I mean, like I was just talking to somebody about it at one point. For like 3 years, I did 6 nights out of the week, an event. Yeah, 3 years. You know, football Tuesday, Taco Tuesday,
Oh,
Wednesday
that's
was
right.
Busters. Thursday was like downtown, and Friday was whatever. We were at level 4, and like whatever. It was just nuts, and we were just doing it every week. And like I feel like technology really screwed nightclubs.
Bruh, I've been saying that for a while. Yep.
And I think it really screwed the music industry as well, because it's an art,
Yeah.
It's like, man, I can't explain it. Music it's an art. And these artists and all these people, they should be getting paid. And I don't know, it's just technology, it just kicks in, and like everyone takes a piece, and it's just like,
yep. And I always say this, like, why are you gonna come to the nightclub to meet people when I can do it on my couch with this?
Exactly.
And not put yourself out there. Like you don't have to actually go up to a girl and be like, hey, can I buy you a drink? And risk getting rejected or shut down. Because if they don't respond on here, oh, guess what? I just delete you. It never happens.
Yeah, you're on
yeah.
Exactly. And like the thing about nightclubs too is like before, it's like you would tell everyone to come. They're wondering who's there.
Yeah.
They're wondering who's there. Now it's like if you have a slow night, you start slow. Everyone's like, oh, no one's there, don't go.
Oh yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
That's really what the cell phone and pictures and all these things kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it, but I mean, it goes with the time.
Well, back in the day, promotion wise, like as a promoter, you'd have to go up to a girl or a bunch of people and be like, hey, Ronnie would give us the VIP passes. We'd call them bullets. And we'd have to go up to him and be like, hey, we're doing an event at the W on Friday. I'd like to invite you here. Like you actually, and then, Ronnie would always say, Alexi, how much numbers do you get? So I'd have a pen, like we'd have to get numbers. And like we'd write them in the book or whatever. And right, you don't have to do that anymore. Like
write them in the book, in your phone, mass text everyone. Oh
yeah.
Mass text was past that. Before it was like individual, like, hey, you come in,
yeah,
hey, like, oh, you can mass text. Yeah.
We I hate to say this, but one time we got the master disk for the UH emails.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow I acquired it, and we master blasted the whole UH system with our flyer, which that's stupid because now everybody knows it was us because it has AGN on there. Oh, I got busted for that one, but being that I work for the university kind of linked it to me.
Somebody may have gave you that, and then you're right.
Here's the evidence. Come find me.
Man, those are the days, man. Those definitely.
MySpace and all that stuff.
Definitely the days, man.
But promoting now is different, and I guess you got to evolve with the times, and it does change because back in the day, it would be straight guerrilla marketing. We'd be running around parking lots, putting flyers on cars or having a street team doing that, posters, going to all the establishments now. And now you can buy ads on Instagram and you'll get the same amount of eyes. For your events and stuff that you do now, do you still do that same kind of guerrilla marketing, or it's more on the social media, internet kind?
Yeah, everything's all internet, for the shows, for if we do shows. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is good to get out there and mingle and tell people about the show, but one click of a button, man. 50,000 emails, it's like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of hard to beat,
Yeah. What about flyers and stuff like that? Is it even worth it nowadays?
You know what? Maybe it's worth it for your own sanity. Like you feel like you're doing all you can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't think it's I think maybe make something digital. Maybe instead of spending that money on a flyer, maybe pay somebody to talk about it post about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it's weird. That's the way it's going, but I feel like that's what's happening.
Well, that's kind of the situation. You have to maybe evolve with the trends nowadays. I always thought like if flyers would even work now. Right now we use VIP passes and we just give them. Yeah,
those,
because they hold value. Like it'll get me free into district on a Friday. So at
yeah,
least
that
they're
works.
yeah.
But like,
But you
there's
can give away free concert tickets, you know what I mean?
digital ways too now, Dad. Where you can get like that code where you can just like knock phones together and it's like VIP card in their phone.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you that
I had
later.
somebody try, yeah, you gotta show me that. I had somebody try to airdrop me in the club. Like they just go on their phone and just put on
Oh,
airdrop, and anybody who just randomly did it would get the flyer.
oh
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
somebody airdropping me. What is this? And I just hit it like a
yeah,
dummy, and then boom, come to this. I'm like, oh, that was kind of smart.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
There's actually
Some
a program that can airdrop people like wherever they are in certain radius, like geo target and airdrop them.
oh, that's scary, bro.
That's you gotta pay for it. I mean, if you really, really want to do something like that.
Well, I guess with digital marketing, there's always tricks and stuff. I remember I had old community for Facebook, and it would just blast everybody on my Facebook. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was kind of cool, but was a legal bot, I guess you could call it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like, yeah, as long as you can get in front of people, I mean, I'm more props to you.
Yeah. So what you're gonna do bigger events now? Is there any point in time where you're gonna call it quits totally,
Oh,
or
yeah, it's almost events wise, the events I'm planning on doing like Island Music Awards. This is our like 6th year we're doing that. It's
yeah.
a it's a island music show that's it's voter based, so they're all nominated by their streams and their Shazams and everything like that. Top 5 in each category for island music, because the island music artists, they don't have that here.
Yeah.
They, like some of the awards they get is like it's almost I don't know
Political.
what they're called, but they're almost bought, and it's cool. I mean that's a lot how the world runs, but you kind of want to know what people like, what the people that are listening to your music, who they really like. So that's one of those bigger shows that's an annual that's going to keep running.
Okay.
Yeah, I work at the radio station announced, and that was kind of a big one where it's like, it's more like a give back. Like some people like to donate their time and give it to charity. Like this is kind of like the show that like I like to give to like the people of Hawaii, where like they can look at this and they can always look back at it and be like, oh, the Island Music Awards, man, they really try to showcase local artists that are, putting in time, even
Oh,
like,
that's cool. And it's voter based, so it's you kind of taking all the politics out of it.
there's zero politics. Like, like one person could win every single category, be the worst award show, but like it never turned to that. What I'm saying is that like, it's just all voter based, so like, and it's good, it really, I think it really pushes the artists and, it's all for them.
That's pretty cool. How you said 6 years? How did you come about doing that? Yeah, and you guys, was it live streamed or for during the pandemic? You guys kind of skirted through and still did it, right?
Oh yeah, like I got to give the radio station a lot of credit during the pandemic. Like they put a lot of that stuff together. I was like, just hold on, everyone. We're trying to live here. Like, what's going on? But yeah, they put all of that together, a lot of it together, and now coming out this year, we're trying to find a date where a lot of the artists are back in town where we can do a sick, show. You
Oh,
better do that.
I'll definitely come, bro. That would be like this year or
Yeah.
okay.
And the ending of this year, hopefully the ending of this year.
Oh, that would be super cool. And this is going to be your first live one from during the pandemic.
Yeah, because so we did like two or three live shows, well like concert wise shows.
Yeah.
And then the 2 I think were like on TV, broadcast on TV, not live, pre-recorded.
Oh, okay.
Like just a program, which was pretty cool, to make it kind of interesting where people could watch it. But people winning the awards, man, it melts my heart when you see somebody work so hard and they win.
Yeah, and they come up in front of their peers and accept it, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, I'll come check it out for sure.
I mean, they know that person that won, like people voted for, like
yeah,
it wasn't like you buy a table or whatever. It was voted, so
yeah,
kind of a cool concept.
I feel like all the award shows should be that way.
Yeah, it's a little different though, you know. So I feel like the election should be this way, and like I don't even think we can do that properly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We're supposed to vote for our president, right? What happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. Like my vote doesn't really count. You know what I mean?
You
Like
see
they're
what I mean?
announcing the winners, and I still have my ballot. Like what the fuck?
Right? You know, like unless you live in Texas or someplace, then your vote really counts. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
We'll talk about conspiracies later, I guess.
yeah, for sure. So during the pandemic, obviously you couldn't do any events. Like you said, what did you do to stay alive? Put
You
food
know,
on the table.
during all these events, I did a bunch of different, like a lot of concerts. We did a lot of shows, like, maybe like 4 or 5 years back. We were doing a bunch. I had my son Cash, and then my better half, she told me, let's just invest. So we started investing in real estate.
Okay.
We started. She's a realtor, so if anyone needs a realtor, just click on the link someplace on this page.
So I got to put a link on there now. Okay,
Maybe, I don't know. You don't
Raja. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I might want to. But like, yeah, but like she's a realtor, and like, we decided to like kind of like invest our money. We did a couple renovations and bought and sold.
Like flipping houses, kind of.
Houses, yeah. So we did a bunch of those, and then now I wouldn't. If I could do it all over again, I would have started 20 years ago. Because it's a good industry, and it just. So after that, during the pandemic, we started doing that, and I started seeing people like you or a friend or a family. They have a house and they have a back area that they didn't have done, and I'd be like, hey, you know what? Let's renovate your back area. Let's get a renter in there. Oh, okay, how much is it gonna cost? And then I would just do the breakdown, and I'll do the breakdown, and I would consult for all these people. And then like after like a few jobs, a few months of doing this, I was like, yo, like I should make this a business and start, like doing this. Like,
well, how did you know how to do that?
It's kind of like, like when you go to Las Vegas, right? You don't know how to gamble, right? First time,
Yeah.
right? At the table, you're like, what do I do? Just put your money on the thing. Put your money down there, and then they give you cards, and then I'll tell you if you win, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you lose, right? You lose your money. You're like, oh, what the? I just lost my money. What happened? Then you learn, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, this is what happened, right? This is kind of what happened there. Like, we started doing investments, and then like the first one, we're like, oh, why did it cost so much? Then I break it down. Then I break it down, and I learn the trade, and then you learn, and then you make connections and contacts with different people, and you have the right people to do your work, and all of a sudden, now I can tell you where you need anything you need for your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you created a business doing this.
Yeah, property consulting. So like basically what Property Service of Hawaii, working with my partner Taylor on that.
Yeah.
So, we created this business that it's a property consulting company that you can basically come to us and ask me anything about your property. Hey, Jay, like my downstairs is this. Oh, my grandma's house is this. Oh, I have a door that I need to be changed. I need a window that needs to be changed. Like all of those things, anything. My carpet, I need new flooring. I need to get painted. Like we do it all. We're like the wedding planners of property, of real estate. So
it's like you could any kind of job is not too small and too big for you guys.
No, everything. We do everything. Like for example, here's a good example. Like, like somebody needs a new roof. Boom. I will consult it and send it and refer Ronnie, like things like that, like, so it's a business that, like it is growing, and it is in the works. Results are always great.
Yeah. I've seen some of the before and after stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the results are always great. But again, in construction, it's crazy, man. You never know, like sometimes, man, with this whole COVID thing, it's like some of these workers could be like, yeah, I have COVID, and it's no questions asked.
Yeah.
You got to reschedule, like, so like a lot of different variables unlike other variables when you have people that are like in a big company or a big, establishment,
Yeah.
But I
So
mean, yeah.
you created this company out of COVID, or it was kind of started before?
Well, I was doing the work like this. And during COVID, I decided to make a company out of it and make it like very, very public where we're doing it, where we're sourcing properties, like more so like we're trying to source properties as well,
Yeah.
for more properties for us to pick up and flip and stuff.
Okay. Maybe I gotta start getting into that.
If you start doing it, Dad, you will never step back in a nightclub.
That sounds pretty cool.
I mean, maybe the party, but
To celebrate each sale.
yeah, you'll just wait for like 5 or 6, and then you'll just go celebrate one big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how often do you turn them over?
Oh man, we try and turn as many as we can. I mean, like 7 or 8 a year.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of paperwork, man.
A lot of paperwork, and a lot of these places, if I showed it, like you'd be like, oh, that's a dump, But the one thing about Hawaii is what I've learned is that, real estate, it does hold its value. Hawaii kind of reminds me of a Rolex,
Yeah.
Once it's not going backwards.
That's true.
Real estate here, it's not going to go backwards. Everyone's like, no, pricing's going to drop. Well, if you look in history, it never did.
Yeah.
Never.
That's true.
So I mean, yeah, just grab a piece of land. That would be my advice to everyone. Grab a piece of land anywhere you want to go. Hawaii.
So have you extended outside of Hawaii, or is that in the plans, or?
We looked at places like Tahoe and things like that in Vegas. Vegas is always good, but man, we live in a gold mine here. This is probably like, if you lived anywhere in the United States, you'd want to invest in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because the return is great,
It's crazy. Like even in Kaneohe where I live, like down the street, the houses go for like 800 to almost $1 million, and it's built in the 60s. Like some of these houses, I could push the wall down, and I'm like, how is it so expensive?
Oh, they're just gonna break it and make a new one.
Yeah. And for me, I was living in Eva, I had a house there, and we sold it just so I could build behind my parents' house. So I built a house behind here. Yeah. And because it was too expensive to move back and have my own house in Kaneohe at the time, it was like, oh, I sold my house. I'm going to buy a nice house in Kaneohe, and like, oh, there's one right up the street. I look at the price. I'm like, whoa.
That's crazy. Man.
Yeah.
Crazy, because I think a lot of smart people understand that, that like, and especially now, with the cryptocurrencies all crashing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a wild west out there in that crypto and NFT market, man.
Have you messed with that at all?
You know what? I was thinking about it. I dabbled a little bit, and I just feel like when you play with that much amount of money, it might not be safe.
True.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And then when it crashes, you don't want to be on that end. I've tried them all, man. And I'm telling you right now, stocks and real estate are real estate first, man. Guaranteed.
So do you enjoy what you do?
I love helping. That's the one thing about Property Service Hawaii, which is great, is I love helping you, your family, your friends, and people that need help. A lot of times I'm in there helping people that have contractors before they ripped them off or they didn't finish, or, I'm in there trying to help and do a lot of this stuff. That's what I enjoy. It's not making money off of the clients. It's their referral. Hopefully one day they can sell the house. Maybe, they can manage their house. I don't know,
So what would be your niche where people should come to you versus going through a different place?
I would tell them to come to me first, just to figure out what would be the best options, and I'll be honest with everybody. If it doesn't make sense to renovate, I'll tell me it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't want anyone to get ripped off. And, like a lot of times at the beginning, I got ripped off plenty times. I overpaid for stuff that I was like, what? Oh, I thought it cost this much, and but once you get it, you kind of realize like, hey, there is a margin in here, and there is ways to make it like you're living,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people do it, and Bruh, if you could educate people how to do it, that'd be a good thing. Well, I would come check it out. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, I would definitely love to, like, probably put something together to kind of explain to people how it works. And then it's crazy because, like, if you were to understand it, guy, you'd be like, at the end of it, the questions he'd be asking me would be more to the extent of, wait, this, if I do this, I get this. No, that's not true. That's what it is. Because I never believed it either,
Hmm.
And like when I see it, that's what it turns into.
I guess you've been doing it for a while and it's working.
It works. It works. And like I said, if anyone ever has property or ever wants to do it, I'm definitely open to talk to anybody, man. I want to help everybody.
Well, that's good, and that's your niche. Help aloha first, and everything else will
Yeah.
situate itself out. May take a while, but
trait, then I'd take something. It's kind of shitty sometimes.
yeah, yo.
Yeah.
People do take advantage, yo.
You're the same way. So
a giving hearts always bleed the most, but it always ends out well in the best.
Yeah, man.
Okay, man. So we've been going for an hour. I always have a question of the week, and this will be a industry related question. What is the craziest thing you've witnessed at one of your events?
Man,
I should say top 2 things because there's probably choke.
You know what? There's a bunch of different stuff, but like, let me think about something. The craziest thing, and like this artist right now is very relevant. He probably just dropped his album last week and it's incredible. But like we did a show with this artist when he first started. And we take them out. You know how it is when you have the artists in town, you try and host them a little bit, show them around,
Yeah.
Advice, and they want to go jet skiing. Right? It's not part of the budget, but we take them jet skiing. Okay. So jet skiing, right? The DJ, the artist, the girlfriend, and they all go jet skiing out in Haleiwa. We drive them out there, right? Come back. 4 jet skis go out, 3 come back. Okay.
Yeah.
The artist, thank God the artist. Thank God he came back, or else I don't know what would happen. The girl and somebody else, but the DJ is missing.
Always the DJ
missing, right? And we're like, what's going on? So we run down the beach. The jet skis on the beach. Like, where's the DJ? Where's the DJ? You know what I mean? Hour and a half later, like, and the concert's the next day. Like, the artist is like, "Yo, we're canceling the show." Remember now, this show is sold out at the Blaisdell Arena. This show has 6,800 tickets sold. Okay, it's like oversold. This show is like sold out crazy. He's like, "Oh, we got to cancel the show, man. I'm not feeling this. We can't find my boy. Like, that's his like best friend, DJ.
And he's been missing the whole time.
Hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, I almost swallowed my tongue. Like, my tongue was almost in my throat. I was so scared. And then the Haleiwa shark tour comes in.
Oh.
The shark, the shark diving tour?
Yeah.
He picked the guy up. He was on the buoy, bro.
Oh.
He doesn't know how to swim too, by the way.
So he ate it off the jet ski and made it to the buoy, and the jet ski just floated onto shore.
Yeah.
And the shark tour picked him up.
Yeah, it was getting dark. It was getting dark.
That's insane.
And then the they went on, they killed the Blaisdell Arena and they murdered the arena, man. I'm telling you.
That must have felt good after all that drama.
So, yeah. You know what? Like, honestly, like, that was like, we really stretched our wallets on that show.
Roll the dice, man.
That was like, some people like to gamble. That's a gamble, man, I tell you. Yeah.
So what's the craziest event in a club event that you've done? Craziest thing you've witnessed or seen?
Oh, in the club. Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen some people get misplaced, I mean, like, But I mean, craziest. I mean, the craziest thing I've seen in the nightclub was maybe about $30 million worth of NFL talent stampeding out the front door, ready to rumble.
Think I know where and when this happened.
Crazy, man. Like, I'm telling you, like they were like huge, like shows, like these shows with like these huge like super monsters.
Yeah.
King Kong and Godzilla and stuff. That's what it felt like. This monster just like, boom, get up, and you're just running out the door, and you're like, whoa, where did all these monsters come from? You know, like crazy. It was a crazy night. And that was crazy. It was one of the craziest nights in Hawaii. I'm sure a lot of people were seeing it and been there. There's a bunch of different stories on what happened that night. That night was something for the ages.
Yeah.
And for their tab either. They all had bottles. They all had open tabs. All bottles. That they all walked out on every single one.
Oh man. Well, I mean,
not that was the first time in mind.
Yeah.
It kind of was.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on this show, man. And I always like catching up with you. You're always good fun to talk to. And
yeah, man.
Maybe next time we have you on, we'll dive into some crazy behind the scenes stuff. And
I got so much story.
Dude, I think people would want to hear that stuff. I think we just got to do it in a way where we're not implementing anybody, and
sure.
we could air it and it won't be used as evidence.
And I can even direct people in the industry, if they ever get into this industry, who to direct, not to talk to and stuff. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm joking, but I'm really not.
So right now you're doing your events, you're doing your house thing, PSO Hawaii. Where can people find you on Instagram or on the website?
On Instagram, they can find me at Jay Kawakami, or you can find us at Tantriq Entertainment or at PSO Hawaii, on Instagram, or psohawaii.com on the website if you want to take a look at some of the work we've done, Okay. But I mean,
and for your wife's real estate, what links can we give?
Yeah, same thing. You can reach out to her name is Solana Grover, so you can just reach out solanagrover.com, and you can check out all of her stuff that she sells if you have a house, and
for sure.
She's good. She puts work first. I tell you that much. Crazy.
All right. And for us, same thing, Above the Bridge podcast on Instagram, ATV Pods, our website, Above the Bridge podcast on YouTube. Right on, man. Well, thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely do this again. Shakas for the cameras. All right, man. We're out. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.
Cheers.